morning, close to good afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm just trying to post the live stream on my Patreon page, and I have a lot of buttons to attach on mugs today. You've been there with me, so that's what's happening today. Let's see. Share. I need a new laptop so bad, but at the same time, I would hate to use a new laptop in my Clay Studio and have it covered in dust all the time. It gets messy here. So just give me a second. Is there publish now? Publish now. And we should be let's hope we are, and there are no glitches. So if you can hear me, or not? Let me see if the audio is on. Hello, yeah, looks like it should be on. So if you can hear me, I would appreciate telling me that you can. And if you cannot hear me, then you don't know what I'm asking. So monks, and buttons. I don't know if you can see the shelf of mugs out there. Yeah, all those mugs need buttons attached to them. So for making my buttons, hey Elena, I'm quiet and I'm breaking up. Oh, the connection seems to be good at my end. Hopefully the glitch will take care of itself. Let me go ahead and actually close my browser window because it might be trying to do more than one thing. So hopefully things will be better now, I hope. Yeah, my connection does show it's good, so it's good to see you, Elena. It's been a long time. I cannot tell. My laptop has gotten so old that it's I'm surprised it's still running. I would like to upgrade to a better laptop, but getting a new one for the Clay Studio seems like such a stupid idea because it's just gonna get so messy and dirty. It would work better. I guess looks really don't matter, right, in the Clay Studio. So I did get contacted by Quina, who invited me to your um, knit. I don't know if it's a knit night or a knit day. So I hope I can. I think I can make it. I think she was talking about some Tuesday, end of September. So that might be. I might see you then. Hope you're spinning and doing all the fun things. So I do 16 buttons at a time. That's what I'm. Oh, it's a knit night. Okay. Yeah, I should be able to make it. I think she told me end of September, something. So hopefully I will see you then. I will most likely spin. I actually, believe it or not, I don't have a single knitting. Well, I have one knitting project in progress. I have no whips, zero, um, except for the one. I'm knitting on a hat, and yes, I heard you have been serving as a distributor. Congratulations on that. And hopefully, that's getting in some more orders and making things fun for you. Are you be going to coming what's Fiber Fusion is mid October, right? Yeah. So, do you have any plans of visiting? I actually am, even as far as spinning is concerned, I have just one spin project on my Sparrow wheel, and also on the Lendrum. I'm doing my sweater spin, which is still going on. So, Jana, can you turn down the volume a little? Okay. Well, you've been teaching. That's cool. Oh, you are sharing a booth there. Nice. So, are you going to be teaching at Fiber Fusion? And I guess you'll be getting all the Spinolution wheels there then. Let's do a bit of safety match here. Oh, it's individual lessons. Oh, that's good. I did, I am signed up to be a vendor there, and I did also just reply to the last email we got from the show about demo opportunities, fiber related demo opportunities. So I thought I would demo how to spin beehives on the, I'll most likely take the Magpie with me because it's smaller. It's a big wheel, but it's easier to carry with me. So I'm hoping I can do that and do a half an hour demo, spinning thick and thin, and then quickly doing like beehives from that. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to do it, but I'm just like, let's see if people are interested and gives me an opportunity to try to teach in person. I'm not teaching much online, but sometimes when I'm spinning, I feel like I'm teaching online all the time. Plus, I am signed up to teach at the Daedalus Retreat, which is in March of 2023. So I'll be teaching spinning art yarns out there, and it's quite a way away, but it would be nice to get some in-person teaching experience as well. I've taught people with clay before, but it'll be fun to see how the fiber stuff goes. So, so we'll see how that happens. I do plan on having some of my art yarns at Fiber Fusion. That is, if I get a chance to spin more, I'm really shocked. I should probably focus on that and get some art yarns out, right? But yeah, it's there's just so much in the works all the time. Currently, I don't know if you have checked my Instagram or Facebook feed recently. I have been bitten by the quilting bug, and I've been enjoying uh, learning about quilting. So I did do some quilting. Well, I won't say I did some quilting. So around 4 years back, I purchased a jelly roll. I had a sewing machine at home, and it wasn't getting used for anything. So I just purchased a jelly roll, and I did one of those jelly roll race quilts where you just join them end to end and make a quilt out of it. Um, Pretty bad seaming at my part, and the whole thing went at an angle, so I just didn't do anything. So yeah, I didn't do anything with that and just left it at that. But last year, having more, I shouldn't say having more time on my hands. There is no time on my hands. But still, I thought, I'll take up cooking, or at least try some more quilting. So last year I made two quilts, finished them completely, and one was a quilt for Casper, which was just very scrappy and everything, and one was a very precision-based quilt. It was actually a mystery knit quilt along, and everything corners need to meet, and that kind of a quilt. Honestly, I enjoyed the crazy quilt more than the the precision one. The precision one also wasn't bad. I like the process of doing it, but like it was kind of like very basic. It was like a stockinette stitch, basically. I would compare it to, where you're not thinking much. You're just following directions. You're just sewing everything at the same quarter and seam, and then you're stressing a little bit over your seams matching and stuff. But essentially, there's already a plan in front of you. I like the scrappy quilts because they were more impromptu, and then so I decided, let me explore that now. So I started playing around with it recently, and then doing more research, I realized what I'm actually talking about is improv quilting, where you know You just kind of go with the flow and quilt stuff, join pieces how you see fit, and uh, it does require a lot of brain energy, but I did enjoy that. It's kind of like, with knitting and spinning and stuff. You kind of want your default spinning to go around, but at the same time, it's fun to have some complex stuff going on as well. So, so that's what I've been reading about, learning about, trying out some quilts. I'm enjoying working with scraps more than just purchasing yardage and doing it. But the more I'm reading about it and the kind of patterns I want to try, it feels like I need more solids and I don't have that many solids. So I might be purchasing more fabric for that. But essentially, it's a fun process. Um, I I think I have borrowed at least 15 to 20 books from the library so far, reading about it. This is the way I am about any craft I want to do. I need to get, like, I'm constantly watching YouTube videos, listening to all these quilters talk about their quilts. I listen to lectures on YouTube. So it's not necessarily like how to videos, means I listen to that as well. But I listen quite a bit to, like when these artists talk about their work, because that's more exciting to me too. Like, technique is good, but then basically knowing what influences them or how they approach their work and stuff like that. So, so I've been listening to a lot of lectures, and when I get books, I'm kind of like that with the books as well. Uh, I know initially when I used to pick up any craft that I wanted to learn, I would just, you get a book, you find some projects that are interesting, you just swipe the pages and get to that particular project which interests you, and you start working on it. Over the years, my approach has become a lot different where I read everything. I am reading page to page from the introduction to about the person who's written the book and what the book is about and what approach is there. You know, there is there is usually a lot of stuff we take for granted, I think, in books, like all that information. And I realized this actually at one of my clay workshops several years back. This is when I was still learning, and I I had enjoyed the work. I still enjoy the work of this artist Peter King, who's based in Florida, I think now, and he makes big sculptural clay work. And this was when I was starting out, and I was really interested in his work. I got his book, and it was like just swipe through the pages I'm interested in, see the how-to steps, tried a few things and everything, like just visually, not like even reading the description in the how-to steps. It was just like, oh, this is the way he's doing it, got it, do it. And then I had an opportunity to attend one of his workshops. And when I did, I, he kept talking about several things, and I felt like I learned a ton from that workshop. And then when I went back, uh, you know, I wanted to refer to some things. Means I'd taken a lot of pictures, I'd taken a lot of notes, and then I began reading his book, like actually reading his book. And he had mentioned whatever he mentioned in his workshop was there in the book. I had just not read it, and so it's not like, the book would have been enough. Like, working with him for 5 days was definitely so much more beneficial. But I realized that there is a lot of information in the books as well. You know, we shouldn't get just attracted to the fun pictures and ignore everything else. So, so after that, I kind of had this approach, like reading a book, just the the author has taken the time to write a lot of stuff in it. Sit and actually read the whole book. I read the introduction, I read the chapters, I go chapter by chapter. It's very interesting. Like there are some books I've read where the approach, the author has actually given suggestions how to approach the book. Sometimes they approach that you should approach the book from chapter to chapter. Some actually say that this is like a reference book. You can skip from chapter to chapter. They are not connected. You don't need to know what's in chapter 2 in order to do chapter 5. So it's stuff like that which is very interesting, that you know you get all that information if you actually read the whole thing. And so currently I'm a lot in that reading and learning phase, which I find very exciting, and it just feeds my brain in a very good way, which also means that and it's very engrossed reading. I don't like to get disturbed when I'm reading that stuff. I cannot knit and read, I cannot spin and read. I'm like, no, I need 100% focus here. Like, I'm not getting distracted by anything, no music, nothing. It's just sitting and reading it like I have to give an exam tomorrow. So, so yeah, so that kind of consumes me, but I feel it's all good learning experience. I don't know how it's going to feed into anything, but it's a it's a fun approach. It's what I do. Any other quilters or anyone out here? I don't know, Elena, if you're still there. The other thing which also piqued my interest in the last few days was acquiring this really cool sewing machine. Means I had my old one, but it was essentially a toy. It there were there were some serious things I couldn't do on it. Though I did make the quilt tops on it, it was very hard for me to quilt on those machines. Yeah, just multitasking. So so yeah. Uh, I acquired this new to me machine, which is a pretty fancy machine for quilting. And it was at a garage sale, a really good deal. I couldn't pass it up. Um, if I was actually getting serious about quilting, at some point I would consider getting a machine like that. But I knew I couldn't justify the funds for it, so I was like, no, not gonna happen. But this was just at such a good deal. I'm like, whether I'm quilting now enough to justify it or not, I don't care because it's a really good price. I'm getting that machine. So I did along with some supplies because I'm starting up. So I don't have a whole bunch of stuff. Like even the iron, I was borrowing a home iron, which is fine. But that day I was quilting something, and then Rima wanted to borrow it for actually ironing clothes, and I'm like, no, I'm using it. So I'm like, I guess I need to iron for myself, so I don't get, distracted with my flow of working. So, so yeah, I I got a lot of stuff at the art sale, but it's been fun. After 3 days of sewing on it, My the thread on the needle kept breaking, and I thought, maybe this needs servicing, or I'm using the wrong thread. Uh, it's a garage sale, fine. Maybe something was wrong with it. I was getting those thoughts in my head, but at the same time, I knew that this machine is a lot more than what I've had previously. So, yeah. So, I knew it was one of those things. I was like, okay, let's just approach it from, the point of view of figuring out how things are to be done. And I realized yesterday, last night actually, that I was threading the machine wrong, and that's the reason why the thread was breaking. Um, so once I did that, I've had no issues. So, and once I had that, the sewing went so much smoother as well. I I posted my last post, which had these strips I made out of scraps of fabric, and that I really enjoyed that process so much. I'm just making buttons here, patching them on. So these mugs are, it's getting ready. There is the men's knitting retreat coming up. Um, I'm going to be there for a short while on Saturday, in the morning to afternoon, lunchtime. And yeah, so I have my mugs there. It's going to be my first in person kind of event, you can say. It's really small, there are not going to be too many people this year. But, you know, trying to be careful, and it's going to be everyone is supposed to wear a mask because we're going to be indoors. And I'm feeling a little better about that. But crazy times. So we'll see how that goes. Well, it was nice seeing you after a long time. So have fun, and hope to catch up with you on midnight on Tuesday. Take care. like the handles will go on. Just going to go live on Instagram as well. Let's see if that works out. I just went live on Instagram as well. Let's see if I can handle both together. And this is the way I mark the locations where I want my buttons to go. And we need to score. And I have a different tool for that medium subject. Because the distance of the marks is different for both. Distance of the buttons. So, there we go. Hey, your mug and your disc came in the mail. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed them. So, are you the one who recently ordered? I think it was a purple mug with a purple disc. I think that's what it was. Yeah, see, I remember. I'm trying to catch up on inventory. I'm really low on the bills. I should be making the bills as well. Hi, Minnie. How are things in Mumbai? Happy Rakhi? I'm attaching buttons to my buttons. And it is a time consuming process, but has to be done. I sometimes wonder why I started attaching buttons because now it's a thing. I have to do it every single time on every mark. Like I usually feel I'm done making the mug and then it's like, no, buttons are still all good in Mumbai. That's good to hear. push the buttons to make them nice and round and even in size. And then for extra detail, I use one of these tools to basically, I don't even know where I got this tool. I don't even know what the real purpose of this tool is, but it makes a nice detailed dot in it. It just gives like a little rivet look. Yes, they do give a special touch, but then when I have 50 mugs to do and I have four mugs, four buttons per mug, that's 200 buttons to make. Then it's not so much fun. It's just a lot of work. But it does get done eventually, so it's not all that. Thank you, Nini. Just working, 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 making more marks. Hey Alana, how are you? I'm sitting here doing production work and all the buttons to all the marks. What tool was that? It's a tool I made. This tool is basically a comb that I have cut up so that I can mark where the um, buttons go. And this also is a comb which I have cut up. It's actually part of this comb which I broke off so that because I need to scratch the surface of the clay, and I can scratch the surface of two buttons at the same time. Yeah, there are no tools made for this stuff, or maybe there are. I just rig something that works for me. So, okay, 16 buttons. So yeah, I earlier used to take a scale and put it against the mug and measure, 1 inch away. And then once you're doing, so many mugs, it gets very time consuming to actually measure a distance and making sure that they are all the same distance and they all look good and they are all along a straight line and all of that. So all I had to do was I took the comb, cut off all the extra teeth. These are, I cut the exact same number of teeth in between. So I got equal distance between the ones that I didn't cut, and so you can see that. And so when I place this against the mark, I get the exact four locations where the buttons should go. Simple tricks and tips for doing silly things like that. So I have avoided the use of two tools in the process. I used to use a ruler and I used to use a pin to, mark my where the location of the buttons is and the ruler to figure out where it should go. That's now reduced to the comb that I can just push with the comb and know where to put the buttons. Nice monkey. Hey, and yes, there is a monkey hanging in the background. For the people on Facebook, they can see that view. We had a big discussion on what the monkey is doing there last time. And but yeah, he's basically he's just hanging around is what it is. And I tried to remove it the other day, and he's like hanging on out there with like his tail is stuck in something. Maybe that's what he wants to do. Just hang around there. I love people on Instagram, so there are more people joining in on Instagram, which is good. I'm currently live everywhere, everywhere meaning Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on Instagram. And oh, the new texture that is the no, it's not the weave pattern. It's the fine stockinette stitch pattern. It's for the color stripe marks. I can putting it close, guys, so you can have a look. That button came off. That's not going to work. So fix that. We don't want the buttons popping off of the mouse. That happened too, and it's mostly because my clay is dry. Hold on, and it's a color stripe marks which have the fine nip pattern. That's what that is. So it's not particularly a new texture. It's new for this year. I think you have one of these ones. If I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it's the one with the fine neck patterns. It's very fine, so it's kind of hard to see from a distance, and it really gets enhanced more after glazing. Sometimes words don't flow that easily. I can hope that the buttons don't pop up during the filing because that's not looking good. But once I've attached them at this stage, I usually don't have an issue. If it pops up, it would be at this stage, and then I would know it's going to be an issue. Um, 4 months at a time. And just today, this morning, or is it afternoon yet? I'm attaching the buttons on, and then tomorrow, not tomorrow, tonight, I'm going to be attaching the handles on these, and then they will be done, and I just have to wait for them to dry up so I can file them. And there are going to be extra mugs this time because I'm preparing some for the men's knitting retreat. And so I'm actually going to be saving them for that. Yes, the texture does look very different when it's in the nude and no glaze over it. So, and I don't, you should be glad that you are not the one responsible for enabling me into the whole quilting thing. So, you are off the off Rima's radar for that. But yeah, I did get enabled and landed up getting a much fancier sewing machine than I would have purchased otherwise. It was just such a good deal. It was just saying this is the hobby you need to take up now. Because, why not? But yeah, you're off the hook. So you do love quilting. I haven't seen you talk about quilting or seen any of the quilting. Do you actually like doing quilting or you just like quilts? Because you've never mentioned it. And well, thank you, man, on knits. Man in knits? Man on knits. I'm glad you like my songs. Oh, you love my quilting. I'm glad you do. I have not, of course, developed any kind of style as such, but I most certainly um, have made two scrappy like quilts. Yeah, so I like scrappy quilts, but then I like more improv quilts as well. And there is, I'm just trying to figure out the terminology of all the quilts and what I really like and what I would like to learn more about. So I've just been doing a lot of reading on quilting recently. And I I did one very nice, precise piecing kind of quilt, very organized kind of thing. Um, I did like making it, but it does get me a little bit on that stressful zone as to, oh, it all has to be perfect and points need to match and everything. And that I felt was the ideal quilt to give Ginger's grandson, because Ginger is a very precise person. So I'm like, this quilt will be perfect for her grandson. And and then after I finished that one, I was like, no, I want to do another scrappy one. So I made a throw. So it was much bigger than, not much bigger, but at least bigger than the baby quilt size. And I really like the way that came out. And I have been reading more on stuff. Oh, come on, don't give me challenges and quilt texture for a mug. I mean, enter my mind, but I was like, okay, when the time is right, it will happen. But I first need to figure out my quilting style as to what I want to represent in a mug so that it looks like my quilted mug. I'm not doing that. I first need to figure out what I like in quilting. And like, I like scrappy quilts, but I don't know what kind of a scrappy quilt mug I want to make. If I even want to make a mug, that is. Maybe I should make a clay quilt. But yeah, so currently the process is just making stuff. and uh, that's the way I approach it. It's like just make the things that are interesting. If I'm enjoying twerking now, I learn about it, try new things, see what sparks joy, and if something influences me to make it into play, then it will. It's not a forced process. Whenever it's forced, it's never comes out to my liking anyway. So I've seen there's no point for me trying to push myself to make a particular textured mug just because I'm doing something different. Like it's like with mugs and everything. People see my mugs, they recognize them. Sometimes it's just because of the buttons, but this I think there is a certain reflection of the you know of me in that texture. Like these color stripe mugs came about with my sock knitting. Take care, and thank you for enabling me for other things. It's all pushed me in all different directions. It's all good. So yeah, it's so when I started spinning for socks, I was I really enjoyed the process. I liked the coloration I got in the socks with uh, hand spun yarn, from dyed fiber, and it was just such a fun experience that I'm like, okay, I need to do more of this, and like I want to represent this in clay. So that's when that happens. It's not like if I'm spinning for socks, I'm going like, oh, I have to have this in mug somehow, and then I'm struggling with how and when and stuff. No, it will just happens very automatically that I'll go like, no, this is what I want the next month to be, and so yeah, I'm playing around with quilting currently, and there is more than one person who said, oh, we are going to see quilting mugs next. I said, you may not, but hold your breath because I need to first find out what kind of quilts I like because that's the kind of quilt pattern I would like on a mug. But I cannot force that. Hey Casper. Casper's come to say hi. So yeah, the whole process of it is kind of. I like the learning process of a new craft because it keeps me engaged and my brain occupied and working, and and help me learn new things. And so this is one thing I found very interesting about you know when I was quilting. It's like my mugs are pretty much like small little quilts. Uh, since I like to cut all my pieces of a certain template, it's it's kind of like using pre-cuts for quilting. Because I was, there are people talking about advantages of having pre-cuts for quilting because everything was already cut up and then you can just quilt away. I was like, yeah, why doesn't clay come already cut up in the sizes that I need? It would make my life a lot easier. So That little bit of slip is all that's needed. Hey Brian, ooh, talking from YouTube. How is the spinning going? I see that you have become quite the production sock spinner now. Well, spinning for socks should have been something you should be doing anyway. It's your first name, right? Or your first nickname, I should say. Yes, you can talk over here too. You just get a different view on Instagram versus on YouTube versus Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch are seeing the same view, but out here you can get a different view. All about keeping things exciting. Right? So how was all your salt spinning going? I saw you were spinning James long draws fiber recently for socks, and I'm spinning a fine yarn on the sparrow, and boy, it's taking forever. And I'm also not spinning every day, which is making it go longer than it should. So that needs to change. Um, but I'm enjoying the spin. It's just that it is. I've never spun so fine. So have you knit socks out of your sock yarn yet? Or oh, and you started a sweater spin? Oh, on the magpie, right? I need to start now. I need to continue working on my sweater spin. But no, your magpie has the art flyer on it. So would you actually spin on the magpie for your sweater spin? I don't know. I guess it could be done if you were spinning a little thicker yarn. I guess you could even spin finer. I have spun a little finer on the with the art flyer on too. Unless you got the other flyer as well. Do tell me what your sweater spin is. Is it one color? Is it multicolor? Kind of like what I'm doing, because I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the yarn actually lands up being the kind of yarn I want for a sweater. Like a sweater on the V2 Mini and you apply on the magpie. Yeah, that makes sense. That was one of the reasons why I kind of wanted the magpie too. It's like I'm going to make a big yarn baby on it. I think James has applied a um, sweater spin on the magpie. I've seen his picture. Ooh, three colors sweater. That's fun. My first hand spun sweater was also three colors, but there were three, like one was a yellowish, one was a orange, and one was like a plum, like very fall colors. And so I spun them as singles, but then when I went to ply them, I plied them so that they would make a gradient yarn. The Montreal, oh, I'll have to look at that pattern. So I basically made a gradient out of the three colors that I spun, and then I did a raglan sweater. That's my pattern. I follow uh, Anne Bird's book on, you know, you kind of have a gauge and then you just knit to the dimensions that I mentioned. I really like that book. I'm forgetting the title of it. But it's a good book for hands fun. So you can, you know, whatever yarn you have spun, you can knit a swatch, and if you like the fabric that you're getting, then measure the gauge. And then in the book, it kind of, you can plug in that gauge and you can plug in your, uh, you know, measurements, and it spits out the pattern. Now it's all like reading through and you cannot get the exact numbers and stuff. Another thing I highly recommend, worth trying, is Franco's sweater design. His website is, I'm gonna misspell it. It's sounds like Franco, but it's spelled Phrance. And so that is a program, and it's really good for uh, men's patterns. I think no, but I think women's patterns could also work in it. But it's really good for that, and it's top down, uh, satin sleeves, and knit in the round. So it kind of ticks a lot of boxes for me. I don't really care actually for knitting the round sweaters. I add a fake seam in them because I like how that sits. But I like the top down and second sleeve approach and all done in one piece at the yoke, especially for hand spun, because then you can, you know, you don't have to worry about your color stripes matching, it all matches, and you get a second sleeve. Usually the top down sweaters, which are all knit together with the sleeve cap, are either raglans, but he has a second sleeve thing, and it's one of those things again. You can just plug in your gauge and all your measurements, your height, your arm length, your chest measurements, and everything, and it spits out a pattern for you. Really, really well done. I have used that pattern to knit a sweater out of commercial yarn, and the sweater came out really good. It fits really well, though I did take my measurements before the pandemic. I finished at the beginning of the pandemic and it fit well, but then my size changed, and the yarn in particular, I wish I had chosen better yarn. But I was like, oh, I'm just trying this process. I don't want to use precious yarn. And time and again, I have come back to this, that don't use crappy yarn. You're not going to like the crappy product you make at the end. And it's just itchy. It's really itchy. It didn't feel itchy while knitting, and I thought this would be kind of like a nice robust woolen kind of yarn. It is 100% woolen yarn, but it's so itchy. It's like I wear it and my arms itch. It's not itchy on my neck or anything. It's my arms. So I think I could wear it with a t-shirt underneath. But like I said, my size has changed, so it's not fitting anyway. If I put another t-shirt underneath me, it will definitely not fit. So currently it's just sitting there. But it's It's a fun sweater. It's fun to knit. It's like, you don't have to sit and do any of the math. It kind of all does it for you. And it is pretty accurate. And recently, Franklin Habit also made one of the sweaters from his website. And so he has a second sleeve option, and then the other one which I want to try is a saddle shoulder, and that's the one I would like to try next. Oh, Brian, did you buy the sweater, the scissors? I had posted. I sent you the link, right? Oh gosh, I need to silence some people on Twitch. I did get the scissors from what's the site? From Amazon. I got the Amazon ones because I don't need four for one reason. I did like the colors on the Amazon ones because it's like baby pink and baby blue, but it is the kind of scissors I always want to travel with. Like whichever scissors I've traveled with here, and travel means just having it in my bag. Um, like Snips, they have torn my bags. I have other stuff that has damaged stuff. Some of them come with a cover, but then I lose the cover every now and then because when I'm using, I remove the cover and then there's no way to put it back and it gets misplaced. Then there are ones which come with attached covers on it, and then those like was like again the same issue. It's like it's so tiny that I would lose it. This felt like a good pen size, and I felt I won't lose the cover on it. I don't know. It just felt right. So I'm gonna try it out. I haven't received mine yet. Yeah, yeah. Hard to. My Amazon deliveries are so slow. It's ridiculous. I don't get anything next day. Everything arrives a week later, and I'm not living in the boonies or anything. I'm living in the middle of the city and everything. But no, we just don't have a warehouse close enough to us. So no quick deliveries from Amazon. I think there have been only very few things I have received quickly. Hey Charles, nice to see you. Are you going to be at the men's meeting retreat? I think I saw your message that you had booked your flight. Yes, I will give you my feedback. I already know I don't like the colors of the scissors, so but I still want them. I think I'm going to take like acetone or something and just see if I can make them all clear and get rid of all the flowers on it. You're excited for next week? What's next week? Is it next week? The men's meeting retreat? No, it's a week after that, right? I have totally messed up my dates. What is it? Is it? It's 24th now. So it's a week after next. It's not this coming week, right? Please tell me I'm right. Oh, Sunny Side Up. You also were a fan of the colors? Yeah, those. those scissors were like, baby pink and baby blue. So I'm just kind of going like, I'm gonna like this one. But correct like a practical scissor. Okay, what date is it today? It's 24th today. So this is 3rd September would be 3rd, 4th September would be the weekend after next. Yeah. So don't confuse me. Oh, sunny side up. Brian, do you have to be on every platform? And confuse me. Oh goodness. I'm going like, what? Yeah, keep all those channels communicating. There was somebody on Twitch, um, posted buy followers and this and that. So I was like, oh, I need like a moderator for Twitch. That's fine. Oh, oh my goodness. Now you're coming on all platforms. You're chatting on Instagram. Oh, Brian, you're gonna drive me crazy, which is fine. It's fine. I can handle it. Now that I know it's all one person, it starts a week from this Thursday. Yeah, I'm gonna be there only on Saturday. Not this, yeah, next Saturday. So I'm just coming for the one day. I will get some pottery along. Uh, just wanted to come by, chat with everyone. I'll have lunch with everyone on Saturday, and then stay there for a few hours. And that's it. Oh my god, Brian, are you going to be sending me one word messages on this platform? Can you keep up? I can keep up. There is no issue keeping up. So, the thing is, you might not know this, but my entire chat for Facebook and Twitch and YouTube all appears on one window. Only my Instagram is on my phone. So I can keep up. Yeah, I'm going to be skipping show and tell. I have other commitments for Saturday evening, so I will have to. I'm sorry. If things change, I might stick around. But currently, the plan is for me to stay for lunch and some more time. You can show me your show and tell before everyone else if that's okay. All floor platforms. But wait a second. Like Instagram, I cannot do on OBS. That's the problem I have. Otherwise, like it would go. Okay, jumbo mugs, getting buttons as well. And plus, the other thing is that it is a fully masked event. Uh, oh, Shanna says that her family members argue over who gets to use my mugs, and you love them all. That's wonderful to hear. Go ahead, fight over that. Don't break them, but it's fine. Y'all can keep, turns of the week, or you can just get more mugs. That's a possibility too. Let every family member get a mug of their choice, of their color, and then it's their mug. Or so you're gonna do a shawl and a blanket. Yeah. Yeah, the other thing is that regarding the men's knitting retreat is it's going to be fully masked event too, and I don't know for how long I can sit with a mask and talking to people. So I'm like, no, I'll just I'll be there for some time. Rather than going to the Etsy store, go on my website, which is down below in the window there, creativewithclay.com, because over there you can even see what is in stock. In the Etsy shop, everything is made to order. So even though in my shop currently there are very few mugs that are ready to ship, but you know, we work all day in a mask. See, you have practice. I don't. I see there's a difference between like even working in a mask all day versus me, going shopping and stuff in a mask all day. Like I can do those things, but when I'm trying to chat with people for a whole day wearing a mask, that I think is going to be difficult for me. Uh, it's mostly because I don't have practice. Maybe I should be wearing a mask at home all day long and get comfortable with it. So that's the reason why I'm like, I can wear a mask for 3 4 hours. That should be fine. So that's why I thought I would stay there only for a limited amount of time. And then plus I have another place to be at later in the evening. Those are tentative plans. That's not very certain. But I was like, let me not commit to more things and then be like, how I can be at all the places at all times. Oh wow! So the static convention was all in a mask. That's good. Yeah, the first show I'm actually signing up for. I'm not considering the men's knitting retreat as a show, even though I'll have some of my stuff there. But it's a much casual thing than the show. So uh, the first show I'll be doing is mid October. It's Fiber Fusion in Monroe, and I still it's again going to be all masked event. So I have to see. I hope I am okay doing it and chatting with people all day long for two days straight. There are more people joining on Instagram. I am getting close to wrapping this up, but Still not done yet. I have another four more jumbo mugs and four yarn bowls to add buttons to. And then tonight everything gets candles. Yeah, it seems like it's the practice wearing a mask on for longer hours and I'll be fine. Now, I have been wearing just, the homemade cloth mask essentially whenever I go out. I need to, those aren't very comfortable for longer periods. I need to find one of those which is almost like a cone, like the duck face ones, because I think that might give me more breathing room. I need to get some of those and try those out. Alright, take care, Brian. Nice chatting with you on all the 10 million platforms. You made your own mask. Yeah, even I made my own mask, and that's what I've been wearing. But mine are just like flat panels, so, and I have a big fat nose, so it can get uncomfortable. I need to make the ones which have, I've seen some which have more breathing space in them. Maybe that's what I should be working on my machine rather than quilts. Oh, I can't do the elastic thing around my ears too. Let's see. I do like t-shirt ties. Well, if you have a pattern, Charles, that you really like, uh, do send it to me or point me to it. If it's a paid pattern or whatever, I would like to try it out and see if that design works for me. Plus, they give me a project to work on my machine. So, oh, so straps go. Yeah, so that's what I use t-shirt ties and I use it to tie behind my neck and behind my head. I don't do behind the ears. That's the reason why I said I don't do the elastic. But most of the elastic stuff is behind the ears. You could have elastic behind your head too. So that's cool design. So yes, now I'm curious to see how yours are made. I did try making mask with the wire thing in front to stop the fogging of the glasses, but that either my I'm sure it's my design flaw that thing always pokes me. Yeah, elastic wears down. Instead of elastic, what I have used is strips of t-shirt because when I made my mask, elastics weren't even available. So I just made the ties out of t-shirt, which was actually very comfortable behind the head as well. And it does have a good stretch to it too. So that worked out well. But for me, it's the basic mask design is what I have issues with. 20 buttons to be attached. Okay, I'm going to sign up from Instagram. Yeah, thanks. See if you can look up that pattern. Maybe I can try this out for the retreat then. I'm so tired now. Now I really want to take a break. Hey Georgie, I'm glad you like my work. Okay. 4 months, I have just 4 yarn rolls to do, and then I can have some lunch. I'm famished actually right now. Hi Casper, what do you want? Will you come to call me for lunch? He knows it's time for me to eat. Still have work to do, Casper. I'm not done yet. Oh, cool. You found the pattern? Okay. I think I got your link on Facebook, so I'm going to check that out. Yes, I got your message, Charles. I will check out that pattern and try out that mask. Hopefully, I get a chance to try it before the retreat. If it works out, yay! Now, I haven't had the need to have a mask on for the whole day, so that's why I haven't, played around with many different masks. But I guess I need to do that. So you modified it to be a little longer and lighter. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Because I know that, there's not going to be that one perfect pattern which fits all. There's always going to be something that works for someone and something that doesn't. So, yeah, I made some kind of a little complex patterns in the beginning, and I was like, okay, that it was just too complicated to me. And six buttons go on this symbol. It still needs to get the cuts on the side. Yeah, and see that's what it takes time. And you're right. I probably should uh, make these masks or figure out a comfortable mask and get into the habit of wearing it for longer times so that it's not too overwhelming to do it all on the day off. Oh, 25 yards of elastics if you're all set with elastic. I was there at a shop the other day and there was a lot of elastic they were selling. That's another yarn bowl. I have another yarn bowl to do. So I have two more to do. And then the buttons will all be done. How many hours has it been? It has been an hour and 35 minutes to put buttons on 50 mugs and 4 yarn bowls. How fun is that? that was 50 months. So hopefully I'll have some mugs for the retreat as well. I'm not going to be listing these on the website as such. It's only going to be after the retreat. If there are any mugs left, that's what's going to be on the website. First dibs for people coming over to the retreat, right? Just going to make all the 12 buttons I need for these last two yarn rolls, and then just attach, attach, attach. Oh, my back is killing me now. Okay, buttons, 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 buttons. Now I'm just mumbling to get my work done. Anything to push me to be done. I have to remember to cover all my mugs with plastic because the handles still need to cool down. Don't want them to dry up before that. Found what you wanted on the website along with a couple of other things. Oh, that's cool, Shannon. If anything is, made to order, like especially with mugs, if it's a knitted mug, I am making more. So some of these are going to be available, and I can then just glaze them in the color of your choice. So it won't be the regular 4 to 6 week turnaround time. It can be sooner, but it really depends on what you place and order for. And if I have any other pending orders. I know I'm making extras this time for the men's knitting retreat. So I'm glad you found something, and hopefully a mug for all the family members. So stop fighting over the mug, right? Yeah, and you had mentioned Etsy. Means Etsy is great, but I haven't been updating my the Etsy shop. It's with what I have out there. Everything is made to order. Their fees increased a lot, and it was just not being feasible to sell there. So I started just listing stuff on my website. Plus, I have ready to ship stuff and made to order stuff. So, and all the new work also goes on the website, and all the yarn as well. Fewer fights. That's always good. That's what we want. We don't want people fighting over mugs. Alright, that was the last yarn roll. I'm gonna cover everything up. So that it doesn't dry up before the handles go on. I look forward to seeing what you got. Uh, have you already placed your order? If you have, then I can have a look and see if we can have it shipped out sooner. Speaking of yarn, if you ever made a sparkle blue, teal, gray beehive, I want to make a decorative necklace with it. Okay, cool. I'll keep that in mind. I I think I might even actually have one. Unless I sold it recently. Was it already on my website? I know I had one beehive yarn which was in those colors. Um, Let me check really quick if it's still on the website. Unless you already bought it. Or unless I sold it to somebody else. Ooh, got a yarn bowl, serving tray. Yep, 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 yep. Nice, thank you so much. So let me see if I still have that beehive yarn. Um, um, oh, I sold out of it. But that one had some pink in it as well. It's called the blue gray beehives. Uh, but that wasn't like truly beehives. It's kind of like spirals and beehives. But yeah, I can work on something for you. I like making beehives. It's one of my favorite yarns to spin. So yeah, so that's the one which I had in mind. Once you said blue, teal, gray, I was like, I have that yarn, but yeah, it's already sold. I don't have it with me. So, and that one is kind of like it has some spirals in it and some beehives in it. So I can probably work on something which is only beehives, or if you like a mix of both. I kind of like a mix for stuff, but if you're essentially looking for, making it into a piece of jewelry or something, then maybe having consistent beehives would be better. But I think it has some sparkle in it too. But definitely add more. Thank you. So blue, teal, gray. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, I have wrapped up everything. Hopefully nothing dries out. I'm just going to put more plastic over stuff. And since my back is killing me, I'm going to take a break and have lunch and maybe be on this evening to when I put candles in. Alright? Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Shannon, for your order. And I shall see you all later. Yes, definitely sparkle. Take care. You have a good day too. Bye.